I guess what have you seen out of the ground game? Obviously, hasn't been a lot of success in the stat sheet, but what have you seen from it? And what's the next step you have to take?
In terms of the ground game, we just got to do a better job of everybody finishing, and starts with the coaching staff putting the right position to kind of get going. You go into every game saying you want to win the line of scrimmage, and get a hat in the hat in the running game and get the runner downhill and get started. We haven't done a good job enough of that, and we're looking forward to do that against Pittsburgh.
Are defenses are they targeting the ground? I mean, is that what they're doing? Is they're just trying to take it away? Are they doing something special?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that they do anything different than we anticipate them doing. They obviously are playing a little bit a certain style week to week based on opponent, but they're not doing anything different than we thought they would do. We have good players at all three levels, whether it's receiver, tight end, and running back. So they have to factor in a bunch of those pieces, not just Josh. So, we're looking forward to that challenge this week against Pittsburgh.
How would you explain the contrast between the first drive against Buffalo? You just went right down the field, except for that very first play.
Yep.
And then the rest of the game, which
Yeah.
touchdowns.
We did a good job, first of all, taking care of the football on the first drive, which helped. And then the next couple of drives, we just, commit penalties or turn the football over and get negative plays. And that just isn't going to sustain drives. Missed opportunities in the passing game or running game. We took advantage of the opportunities early on the drive with a screen to Devontae, with screen to Josh. And then you get some chunks. And then it comes into, getting a negative play in the running game and then missing an opportunity in the passing game. That presents problems in terms of sustaining drives and scoring points. So I think overall we have to do a better job of just making sure we have positive plays and taking advantage of the opportunities that present themselves.
You got an explosive play out of Trey early.
Yeah.
Almost got one later in the game. Looked like maybe
Yeah.
you were very close to it. I guess what have you seen out of him, and what can he continue to do for you to bring that explosive?
I'm really happy for that young man, going out there and playing and executing his job and playing fast and playing free. Any young receiver or any young player in general, can kind of have some trouble in terms of just playing at his level of speed you see in practice, because he gets in the game and things are moving different and stuff. And I was really proud of the way he performed in terms of just going out there and doing his job fast and not worrying about anything else and just playing his game. That was really what I was most excited to see from him. And he made a great catch on the sideline. Was called a penalty, then obviously picked up, but he did a great job of going up and getting it and just playing fast. And you saw his speed in the speed sweep, and we got the ball in space, and he did something with it, which I was really happy with, and I think the whole unit was excited to see him kind of, you guys saw him play in the preseason and make some plays. So it was really nice to see him play in the, this past game and get some production. That young man works really hard. It's fit right into the receiver room with Jacoby and Devontae and those guys who are grinders and really master their craft. So he fits in very well, and he's grown every week he's been here, which we've been very pleased with, and hopefully he'll continue to do that moving forward.
Nick, how important is it then to get Hunter Renfrow more involved? He's got one target through 2 games.
Sure.
He's already got the resume and everything there, but there's also that fine line between forcing something and taking what a defense gives you.
Yeah. I think just overall, in terms of the passing game, we have to obviously stay on the field a little bit more on third down and sustain drives and present more opportunities on drives moving forward. So the coverage can dictate one thing, and the ball goes to a certain player, or we misread something at quarterback, or we miss a blitz pickup. All those factor into the passing game, So over 2 games, it is what it is. We always look to get everybody involved. Hunter was a big part of the game plan in week 1 and week 2, and every player in the skill position will be in week 3. So he's not deterred. We're not deterred. We're just going to go out there and keep going and try and get some production. And it really, at the end of the day, we care about team production, not individual production. So if we're 7 of 8 on third down and he doesn't have a target, or Devontae doesn't have a target, they'd much rather win the game than get the individual production. But you're right, we have to do a better job of sustaining drives and getting more plays in games. Therefore, more targets and more opportunities come up throughout the game.
The attitude is always next man up, but not having Jacoby this week, how much impact did you think that had on offense?
Jacoby had a great first game, and he's a really dependable player, like we talked about last week. But overall, I thought those other guys stepped in really well. Christian, Trey, and the tight ends, and overall Devontae and Hunter, they stepped in, and played some different roles that we didn't anticipate them playing. the first week of the season just because they had to, and I was very pleased with the way they handled it. Obviously, some things that we had to clean up moving forward with those guys, and the same thing goes for when Jacoby plays. He has a lot of stuff to clean up too when he plays in a game. So obviously, Jacoby's a very good player, and we love to have him on the field, but I thought those guys in the skill position stepped up pretty well and took advantage of their opportunities when we had them out there on Sunday.
Would you like to feature Trey more? I mean, the rushing game is just looks really bogged down. It's really off to a slow start. I mean, do you think Trey's speed could be like a nice alternative in the scheme?
Yeah, I think Trey's speed definitely can give us something. You saw the speed sweep and we threw him down the field on the sideline, so I think that factors in for sure. But we just got to do a better job in the running game overall, like we talked about before, just sustaining and get ahead of and get Josh going and the other backs going. But you're right, all skill positions factor into that running game, and we look forward to that every Monday and Tuesday. What gives us the best chance to be successful? And we did that in Buffalo, and we'll try to do that the first week against Pittsburgh.
Obviously, the Pittsburgh defense has a lot of playmakers, a lot of skill on there.
Yeah.
You guys saw them last year.
Yeah.
How much does that maybe help in the preparation?
Helps a lot. We play them late in the year too, which helps even more, especially in terms of the personnel and the scheme. I mean, Mike Tomlin's been there a long time, and they're going to run not the same, but a similar defense for a long time. So there's some familiarity with that. But for the players, I think it helps in terms of just knowing who the guys are going against, the tight ends, the offensive linemen. Hey, this is what he did last year against me in this game late in the year. Hey, I know Cam Hayward is not there or potentially could not be there, but this is him. Hey, this is Highsmith. This is how the backers feel in the running game. This is how Fitzpatrick plays in the passing game and the running game. And the same thing for the corners, So overall, I think there's a big help for that. Playing a team last year, it's like a division game almost, with some familiarity, which is great. Because you always like that, because the players feel comfortable. They know what to expect from the scheme and personnel standpoint. So
their defense is obviously much more than one guy, but Watt is such a disruptive force. I guess how do you go about preparing to make sure he can't wreck the game, but also knowing that there's 10 other guys that you also...
Oh, there's 10 other guys for sure. I think Watt plays a certain style of game where he plays hard, he plays aggressive, he plays fast. I think that's their defense. They play great as a unit. I think that's what makes them so good, is that, they're all connected, and they play to the ball. They play tough. They're hard-nosed. And Coach Tomlin has done a phenomenal job his entire tenure there of making sure that's the identity of his defense, because they're coming in here to make it a dogfight. And, if our team's not ready to go into that fight, well, often we'll lose. So we have to do a good job of making sure we're ready to know that, ready to go, because whether it's TJ Watt on the edge or it's, Highsmith on the edge or it's, we talked about the secondary, but they're all going to play as one. And if you don't play as one in that unit, you're probably not going to play on that unit. So overall, we got to be ready to go because it's an aggressive, fast, and physical defense.
You saw Pittsburgh score actually twice on defense last night.
Yeah.
After the Raiders kind of turned the ball over. Is there going to be an extra emphasis on just protecting the ball this week, or is that even an issue?
Goes back to your first question. There's a huge emphasis every week for us in terms of ball security. You can't win games in this league unless you take care of the football. So you can go through every game on YouTube TV and watch on the Sunday Ticket, and the team that's turned the ball over probably ain't going to have a good chance of winning. But defenses that play hard and aggressive, similar to how Buffalo played, similar to how we're talking about Pittsburgh, they're going to be coming for the football. And we have to make sure we're ready to go and to take care of it both in the passing game at quarterback, in the running game and at skill positions, and staying inside out in protection. They rush a certain way to get to the quarterback, and they come after the ball in the open field, whether the ball's in the air or in the carrier's hands, because they're going to be coming for it. Because they know that if there's an opportunity to get the football, they can change the game, much like they did last night, and much like we let Buffalo do last week. So we have to make sure we do a better job with that as a unit, and obviously because we know they're going to do it against us.
Last question, Adam.
First of all, that was a great plug.
No one told me to do that. I just,
Free subscription.
I don't know. My son's a big football fan, so he's got YouTube TV on all day. My wife's like, well, I'm like, what'd you do today on Sunday? She's like, we watched YouTube, and we flip back and forth from every game, so.
Last week we talked to Josh and the players about how they reacted to a win, right? Like they did the right thing. It was like, hey, we won, but time to go back to work.
Yeah.
What have you seen for how the team kind of responded to what happened on Sunday? Have you liked their response?
Love their response. They came in with an open mind yesterday, and they knew that we didn't coach well enough, they didn't play well enough, and just was not a well enough performance by anybody in the organization. They know that, we know that as a staff, and I think we're all on the same page when we came in here yesterday and said, you know what, let's fix what we can fix, and let's apply that this week to the game plan against Pittsburgh. Because if we can do that and control what we can control, then we'll have a successful night on Sunday night. So, look, it doesn't get any better than that, playing the Pittsburgh Steelers Sunday Night Football at home, so in front of national TV. So they're going to be ready to go, and they'll be pumped up, and I know we'll have a great week of practice getting ready for it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.